Madam President, I see on the calendar S-1963, a bill to repeal certain reductions made by the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2013. I didn't vote for the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2013, and my no vote was cast for one reason. It is this so-called CPI -1 injustice that was done to military retirees. Those military retirees under the age of 62, under this newly passed bipartisan budget bill that has been signed by the President, will not be able to keep up with the cost of living because their annual cost of living adjustment, or COLA, would be reduced each year by 1%. I think we have clearly pointed out to the American people the injustice of this provision in the Budget Act. Over time, an enlisted person would lose some $80,000 lifetime out of his or her pocket. These are military members who fulfilled every part of their bargain. And the government comes along and tells them, after they've done their share, after they've subjected themselves to worldwide duty, after they've been in a war zone perhaps any number of times, the government comes along in the form of this bill and says, we've changed our minds. We're not going to give you your full cost of living. We're going to take a % from that each year. For officers, it's even more than the $80,000 lifetime. And I think most Americans now realize that it was a mistake to do this, that it needs to be corrected, and we need to go back to keeping our promise to military retirees. We have an obligation to military retirees to do this. At the same time, Madam President, we have an obligation to future generations not to go back on the budget savings that were so hard fought in this Budget Act. I supported the level of budget savings. I just didn't like the way they were done. And time again, Senator Ayotte, Senator Graham, and I and others came to the Senate floor pointing out that there are other ways to pay for the savings that need to be made in the budget. There are better ways than taking it out of the hides of the people who volunteered to serve their country in the military. So we have a bill that we will be considering, S-1963, and it's authored by Mr. Pryor, Mrs. Hagan, Mrs. Shaheen, and Mr. Begich. I like the idea of addressing the problem. There's only one fault in the bill, and that it does not have a pay for. So of the budget savings that were made last December, some $6 billion of that would simply go away. We would be spending that $6 billion that we were wanting to save. Our obligation needs to be to the military people and also to future generations. Why do we need to cut $6 billion? Why do we need to stay with these $6 billion in budget savings? Because we have an obligation to do something about the debt. That's the whole reason for the budget bill last December, is we are drowning in a sea of debt to the tune of $17 trillion plus and growing every day. And so we need to rectify the wrong done to military people. At the same time, we need to find the budget savings elsewhere. Today, I will vote to proceed to the bill. I will do so in the hope that Republicans and conservatives will be allowed to offer amendments in the regular order to pay for this bill, to find the $6 billion in savings needed over a 10-year period to pay for this bill. Now, there is legislation, there's a proposal by Senator Ayotte, Senator Graham, and I, that would use an Obama administration pay for the cost of rectifying the wrong to the military retirees. It is a closing of a loophole in the United States tax code, a loophole that allows people improperly to claim an additional child credit. The Joint Committee on Taxation has estimated that this change could save approximately $20 billion over the next decade. This was an issue identified by the Obama administration's Treasury Department and by the Inspector General there. So we're not taking a Republican, we're not taking something from the Heritage Foundation. This is something from the Treasury Department of the Obama administration and from their Inspector General. And I would simply submit to my colleagues, let's rectify the wrong done to the military retirees. But let's admit also we have an obligation to future generations to not add to the debt any more than this Congress has already done. We can fulfill both of these obligations today. But the way to do it is to vote for cloture on the motion to proceed, which I will do, and I think many of my Republican colleagues will do so. We ask in return for regular order on this important bill. Allow amendments, allow pay-fors, perhaps the AIT, Graham Wicker pay-for, perhaps others. If there are members on the other side of the aisle, among my Democrat friends, about a better pay-for, bring that to the floor, offer it, let the sunshine shine on these suggestions, and let the American people know where we stand on righting the wrong and also protecting future taxpayers. So vote, I would say to my colleagues, vote yes on cloture on the motion to proceed. But I would say to the leadership, don't lock it down this time like you usually do. Don't fill up the amendment tree. Allow Republicans, allow Democrats who have other ideas about how to protect our future generations from a sea of debt to bring those ideas to the floor, vote on them, and let the American people see that we can correct this wrong to the military without adding $6 billion to the debt. So thank you, Madam President. I hope that we can have a bipartisan consensus and begin this new year with regular order and with allowing the elected representatives of the states to work their will rather than having deals cut behind closed doors. Thank you, Madam President.